Hi everyone, can everyone hear me? I think, right? We'll be looking at the private chat because Isadora, your microphone was echoing a lot. So thank you everyone for joining the session. I will be trying to guide you out to how not to become a CIO. Would you like to switch to the dark side? No, I'm just coming from there, so it's not funny. But long story short, I know that you are either at the beginning or at the very early stages of your tech career, and you are really willing to pursue the dream of becoming a mind bender and allowing the business enabled and empowered with delivering your code or your artifacts or impact in the game, and you want to seek for recognition, right? So let me just try to share my screen now, and I'm also, yep, and that's the journey we will be moving on. So we are in the light speed here, right? And we are in the space era. So we all want to mimic the frontier runners of the technology or engineering activities that is currently run by Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, etc. And I believe that everyone is looking after the trends and the predictions of what's going to happen next. And data scientists, AI, machine learning, and many other, let's say, cloudification and all that infrastructure is the future, of course. That has been validated by many universities, many consultancy companies, and including Gartner and Forrester, kind of predictive, let's say, academic research companies as well. So what I want to bring into your attention is like how not to become that person called the CIO. But before that, I really want to give a small introduction about myself to support the content that I will be bringing into your attention and also raise some confidence about that. I'm just kidding. So I'm born and raised in Turkey. 3 years ago, I immigrated to the Netherlands with the age of 37. I'm an expat here, and I'm working for ING. I have a engineering background with a Master of Science degree in the industrial engineering area. My Bachelor of Science is mathematical engineering, so I totally understand what you were saying about the data science and algorithms, Massimo. So it was good to catch up with those, let's say, concepts. So I have 18 years of work experience in dispersed roles. Started as a business analyst in the alternative delivery channels in a bank, and then pursued a career to fraud and security expert, and then to the IT audit, and then consultancy background, and ending up as a risk and technology executive person working in ING. For the last 10 years, I'm managing teams, supporting executives in many dispersed industries and many dispersed roles, including recently our retail country CIOs, COOs, business and risk leaders in the ExCo level. So today I want to take your attention into as how not to become that kind of CIO. And I do believe that many of you are working under tech functions, either reporting to a CTO at the end or a CIO that leads the technology strategy of the organization you're working in. So who is that person assigned as the CIO? I just put a link there, and I think you will be accessing the content right after me. There is a how-to wiki page for anything. And there has been a literally how to become a CIO article being submitted during September 2021. And there were 6 co-authors were contributing to that. And what they are actually mentioning there is a CIO should be a business transformer. A CIO should be technology visionary. CIO should be the advocate of the customer experience and all the things that customer needs to be doing by themselves or increasing the digitalization, but also the mainly is a culture warrior. So they are the technology culture ambassadors on the ExCo level, executive committee level. So after this speech, you assume that person is a Superman or Superwoman, right? But actually, this person is a well-educated, strong engineering background and working experienced person. So that person spent some of his time, her time, or their time in managerial roles, and they have highly vasting communication and leadership skills that they invested. So what if I told you that's not enough? And actually, the content I brought to your attention, which is common practice, right? Everyone will be telling you that. Not sure if the context is needed at all. So I'm making a twist here, right? I took your attention. What is actually being a CIO is all about staying in the moment and understanding what is actually surrounding you and what resources you have, where you want to go, and what people with you and enjoying that journey with you. So it's all about solving problems with the given tools or available tools around you and the skills you have to either influence people, inspire people, or operate people. So what does this mean? So there are three main activities that is expected from a CIO to pursue. Either transform or adapt the organization to stay relevant, to keep with the sales upcoming, customer service ongoing, to keep maximizing your profits and reducing your cost landscape with digitalizing or enabling the digitalization with providing additional features like AI, data science, data warehouse mindset, and predictive analysis. It goes on like that. But actually, they have also another activity that they should be doing is run the business, meaning what is already been there, what is already being sold as a service, what's already being provided to the customers, clients, or internal customers, the employees, you need to run the business. And while doing those two in hand, you need to juggle the third ball, which is looking ahead, understanding the predictions and where the industry is ongoing, and you need to design and plan. So if you just look at the CIO's brain, that is a normal human brain. So we either start acting like a CIO or we become a CIO. So there's no difference between those two, in my humble view, based on the experience I had with all the CIOs that I worked closely with. And their main problem is making the right decision in the intersection point of all those three activities, what I should be doing. And that's where they need thought partnership. So if you just design and plan ahead, you just focus on transformation and adaptation, but then you put a gap between run the business. So then run the business legacy system become a technical and organizational debt in the future that will be burden on your shoulders, and you will think like, how the hell I'm going to get rid of that? Which actually incubates into the gap economies. You either forget to refresh the skill set or the language coding or the infrastructure or the technology in place. And also you avoid being, let's say, reaching out to the technology or access to the technology that will be taking the burden off your shoulders. But to do those two things, you need to be also persistent. So a CIO mostly has a management team around him or her or they. So what does management team do? They either look at the enterprise architecture, they either look at the IT security or focus on IT governance. They focus on delivery of the services or products or code, whatever that delivery is, and also the infrastructure. So mainly those 6 people around him will creating the inspiration into his game or her game or their game to make the perfect decision for the organization to go for the victory that has been determined as a strategy. So it's all about either putting it in the agenda for strategy or prioritizing it, giving a hard decision, either go, no go, or again, let's try it again. We will learn from its mindset. But at the end of the day, it's all about culture. It's all about what kind of engineering culture, technology culture you are actually maintaining in your organization and how you're spreading that craftsmanship around the organization with many ways of working models. Right now, everyone is using Agile, but 20 years ago, Agile is kind of, we like to do the waterfall. And then somehow there has been a transition like, let's do Kanban, and then let's do Scrum. It just have many methods. At the end of the day, it's the culture of the organization at the executive committee leaders level and how the CIO contributes to that, representing the technology and enabling the business in the right way to be the leader, strategic advisor for the executive committee. It's all about respect. It's all about execution. And unfortunately, in the technology function, if you really want to have confidence, you need to survive with availability issues first. That's the only way you gain the trust. All in all, I just wanted to give you a small intro of a very, let's say, highly regulated, let's say, a company's change environment, like from strategy to implementation phase of an idea. So on the left, there's this change board. You have chief product officer, you have a CIO, you have a COO, and in the inner triangle, you have the subordinates. And then there is a continuous cycle per product with the solution delivery board people, like chief architect kicks in, there's this IT delivery lead, and then the COO of the product. Apart from the product team, there's another person responsible of implementation of the product and rollout, this kind of change management activity outside the product team. So, and everything rolls up, becomes a backlog, product backlog. And then there are a lot of other complex rule of the thumbs kick in, and it goes to the IT delivery. And at the end, there's a working product. So the CIO or CIO's team is not enough. This is kind of organizational behavior. And to do that, you need to identify your strengths and weaknesses and try to find a very lean game so that you can actually make your engineers engaged, make your infrastructure operators engaged, and everyone knows their purpose of their existence in the organization. So then you can actually do a career planning. You can actually identify your value for the organization and how long you will be staying with that organization or how long you will keep learning in the organization. Because you can learn with the limits of your organization in your day-to-day activities. So that's why many of the good engineers or data scientists or AI modelists leave the companies. Not that because of the company is not supporting, but they are leaving their leaders because those leaders are not allowing them to grow. They hit the limit. So long story short, what we talked about until here is how a CIO should be. So reverse engineering of that is not to become a CIO. I just wanted to give the positive news before the negative, because everyone perceives the CIO should have highly problem-solving skills, right? If you have that power, engaging people, bringing all that craftsmanship around the problem, you can solve it, right? But what if? I hope everyone knows the Matrix movie from 1999. There is no spoon. So we are trying to bend the spoon, and we are just trying to come up with overcome this problem. But we don't have the right expertise around the table, and we are suffocating around that. So what if there is no problem? What if we are the problem? We are creating the problem. So now we are actually passing through the dark chasm and the dark side of why not to become a CIO. Most of the pitfalls done by CIOs in many industrial, industry technology functions are, they don't cope with the organization culture or modus operandi. There, you need to be fitting inside, because maybe you are overachieving stuff and you are overselling yourself and you commit too much and you bring the team with you, and then it's just not fit with the organization pace. So the minimum frequency should be your standard. And if you want to go fast, then you need to bring that pace into the whole organization to run fast. And new doesn't mean the best way to go all the time. We need to go for containerization. Either we need to go for Kubernetes or OpenShift, but we need to do it. But you are running legacy mainframe system, man. Come on, you cannot go for containerization. What you should be doing, maybe, think out of the box, what to containerize, and then how to make my engineers also happy with dealing with the technical debt I have. So that's the magic thing that the CIO should be using, the first activity, transform and adaptation. And we as engineers, born to solve problems. That's how we justify our existence, right? Imagine the CIO is the same, because he or she or they are also a human being. They just been through they have been through this career path just long before than us. So they like to talk complex languages, not only to show how sophisticated they are in a very ignorant environment, but also try to protect themselves from budget perspective, from resource perspective, from vendor ecosystem perspective. We need to just simplify it and make it transparent and make the fluency in the organization for technology aspects more broadly. So that will cost less than the amount you will be paying to the new technology that will be bringing complexity in the organization. And reducing cost and not investing in technology landscape, including the resources, is also another aspect of a big, good suicide. And as I also explained, like being very ambitious and committing unrealistic goals and delivery goals also burns down the organization, including you start losing your engineers. So you need people to run the show. And as I said, if you don't represent technology in a strategic way, but just operational way, then the board of directors will start see you as a cost center. So as a last message, I would like to bring into your attention is like, you need to go through your journey to discover yourself, strengths, and your purpose. It's always easy to learn new skills or capabilities, but actually the attitude is being hired in organization. So what kind of a person you are is the foundational role in the game. And whatever you just wear on top of that person as new skills, as a new, let's say, capability like a jacket or a sweater, it will look really good on you, believe me. And you will start attracting people. And in the future, in my humble view, there won't be any role appointments taking place, but there will be community selections, community of engineers selecting their leaders based on situational activities. So then everyone needs to focus on themselves, learn themselves, and invest in their strengths, but not only their vulnerabilities. So I think I was ahead of the time, and we can go for questions and answers, if I may. Isadora, hi.
Hi, Tulu. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. I think
Sorry
your
about my
mic is better
network
now.
connections.
Yeah.
What's this networking tab all about?
This
I
question
think
is not
this
for
is
me,
a
right?
general question. I think it was a question for your
Yeah.
presentation. We will have a stream, a network at the end of a networking session at the end of our summit. So
Cool.
I can answer that question.
Easy one.
Yes, that's an easy one. Any other questions?
I think I paralyzed the audience, or they might be scared of typing some questions. Come on, shoot.
I think it was a very interesting talk. Maybe they were like, how not to become a CEO? What?
Yeah, of course. I
That
mean,
was the goal.
I
Well,
think I
anyways,
picked the right topic not to have any questions.
exactly. Thank you very much for coming and
You're
talking to us.
welcome. It was a pleasure to attend, and best regards to everyone. And I wish all success and gratitude to the audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.